Alright guys, so good news, I finally got a new board. Today we're gonna go over the 10 tips that I wish I would have known when I started setting up skateboards that make setting up a skateboard way easier and make the skateboard work a lot better. So today I'm setting up a Creature David Reyes. Let's get into it. Open up our packaging. They're just coming close. You hear that? Skateboard setup ASMR. A big problem that I used to have when I was gripping boards is getting the grip tape in like the center. You know, sometimes you can get it like a little bit like off. And so what I recommend you do, place it down on each nose and tail and make sure you have enough space on each side, and then you're just gonna push down like that. Boom, and you're ready to go. Personally, this is the first time I've done this, but I'm going to do something a little bit different today. Excellent! Okay, so the second tip that I'm gonna give you is to use the back side of the grip and just go like this all over your grip to make sure that it sticks down and you don't have any air bubbles. So the worst thing that can happen is for your grip tape to peel up while you're skating it, because once it's on there for a while and then peels up, you're gonna have a really hard time getting it to stick again. Once you go down that road, there's no coming back really. You really wanna take the precautions when you're setting up the board so you don't have to deal with problems of the grip pulling up later on, okay? The next tip that I have for you is to file down the board way more than you think you need to. So you can use a file, or I bottom my trucks, and you know, I just rub like that. The biggest problem I see with grip jobs is that if you don't file it down enough, it's gonna be super hard to cut through it, and you're not gonna get a clean looking grip job if you don't spend enough time filing it down. On top of that, your grip can come up if you don't do a good enough job. So again, if you put in the work right now, your board isn't gonna have any problems later on. The other thing you need to know is when you're cutting the grip, you always wanna cut from the bottom up, because if you cut down, it won't turn out as clean and you'll probably end up nicking all the rocks on the top of the grip. So make sure you cut from the bottom up all the way around. Be super careful so you don't hurt yourself. But yeah, cutting from the bottom is definitely the way to go. Alright guys, so the next tip is to take the corner pieces of the grip tape, fold them over so there's grip on each side. What you're gonna do is you're gonna sand down the edge of your grip like crazy. And what this does is it helps melt the grip into the wood. That way it's not gonna peel up on you. Seriously, if you do this wrong, you will pay the price, so make sure to take your time and get it nice and sanded into your deck. So as far as poking holes in the grip tape to put your hardware through, I've seen a lot of people like poke at the top of the grip with like screwdrivers or even with their hardware. But the easiest way I found is just put all of your bolts in and then just go with your trucks and go boom, boom. You've got them poked through, and then you just hold it up and then pull all your hardware out. That does a pretty good job of punching a hole in the grip tape for you. And then you've got your holes. I used to always strip out my hardware. So if you guys know what like the top of a screw looks like, it usually has like a cross, and that's called a Phillips head. When you have hardware with a Phillips head, it tends to strip out really easily. And I've gone through a bunch of Phillips head hardware. About probably like a couple of years ago, I got these independent Allen hardware. Because of the shape of this and how snug it fits, this has never ever stripped out for me. And I've stripped through tons of hardware, but Allen hardware will literally last you like so long. This stuff is like 2 years old, still going strong. I'm probably not gonna have to replace my hardware until one of these magically like snaps, but honestly, I don't know if that will ever happen, so I highly recommend using Allen hardware rather than regular Phillips hardware. So another key point, when you are putting your trucks on, you always want to start with one corner and go to the opposite corner, then go to the next corner, and then go to the opposite. So you're always going diagonally. The reason I do this is it's supposed to make your trucks stay on straighter and not go crooked. I know that like construction workers and builders do the same thing. I always do it and I haven't had any problems. So you want to go down here, then up here, up here than down there. So just always go diagonal. One thing you can do that helps keep your hardware flush with the deck is when you're putting it on, you can over tighten it and then kind of like loosen it, because you don't want to do it too tight for too long, because it might give your board pressure cracks and make your board break sooner. But right when your board is fresh, you can over tighten it to really get the hardware to sink into the grip tape, but then keep it loose enough that it's not going to cause pressure cracks. Alright guys, so now that you've got the trucks on, the last thing that you're going to want to do is take your board like this, double maul grab it, really go for it, and then you're going to want to really go like that to scrape down your nose and your tail, because again, this is the same thing that we did earlier, sanding down the edge of the grip. But those are the parts of your grip that are most likely going to get scraped up, and so you want to pre-scrape it so that when it does get scraped, it's not going to peel up your grip tape. So do a good job with that. The last thing you want is your grip tape to start peeling up. If you really take care of it at the beginning, it's going to pay dividends in the long term, I promise. I'm skating independent trucks with independent hardware. These things are tanked. They've lasted me for like 2.5 years or something like that. I have no complaints about independent. I've got these Bones bushings. I'm not sure what kind they are. I really, really love them. Super great bushings. I'm riding the Spitfire lock-in wheels, so you can see they're kind of square on the inside, which is supposed to help you like lock into ledges and rails better. And I've got the Creature David Reyes deck. I've had really good luck with Creature. They've lasted a really long time. These last 2 decks that I've skated, I got a real deck and it broke within like 2 weeks. Then I got a shop deck and that broke within 2 or 3 weeks. Every time that I've gotten these, they've lasted me like more than a month. Hopefully I'm not jinxing this, but I think this should last me a while. And the last thing, got our Mob grip tape. I can't say enough good things about Mob grip tape. On the back of the grip tape, you can see there's a bunch of little perforations where they poke it with the needle. When you're putting the grip tape down, if there's any air bubbles, they can escape through that hole. So you're not gonna get all the air bubbles that you get with other grip tape. And also, Mob for me is like the perfect amount of grip and slip. Whereas like if I skate Jessup, it's like skating an old sheet of Mob grip tape, like that's how slick it is. But then if I skate like Grizzly, way too grippy for me. So this is right in my sweet spot. Love Mob grip. Super excited to skate this setup and finally get some skateboarding content for you guys. So thanks for watching the video and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.